everyone. Welcome to the Melancholy Coaching Podcast. I'm Fran, your host and NLP coach. Join me as I interview inspiring business owners and self-improvement seekers about their experiences whilst delving into personal development, motivation and strategies for overcoming challenges. Let's ignite our creative potential together. Hello and welcome to Melancholy Coaching Podcast. I'm Fran, your NLP coach, and I'm honoured to introduce an inspiring guest. Victoria Dioh is an African oracle, intuitive healer, and seer devoted to helping high-achieving leaders who look successful on the outside but feel unfulfilled within. An international speaker, she has shared her message on world-class stages from Tony Robbins events in Tenerife to influential platforms across the UK and Africa. Victoria, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Fran. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. For full transparency, Victoria and I have actually met in person. I've been a client of Victoria's as well, which was interesting. Which is very interesting. And we've met at a couple of events and stuff like that as well, haven't we? So it's really nice to connect with you again.
You too, my love. You too. What a pleasure. Thanks for asking me.
Oh, you're welcome. So I've got a couple of questions for you, and then we'll have a chat around it if that's okay with you. And the first one that I've got, because I like to pre-prepare a couple of questions. So you're an African oracle. So how would you describe being an African oracle to someone who's hearing the term for the first time?
So if anybody ever looks at any of my posts, when I talk about African Oracle, I always put in brackets intuit and healer. It's a really simple way to just say that my intuition is second to none. It's quite high, especially for other people. Sometimes for myself and stuff, we have interesting conversations, but for other people, my intuition is very high. But also as a healer, I'm a pranic healer. So I use my hands to heal people remotely or face to face. And as an African oracle, when I got anointed in Africa, it was those strengths that were acknowledged and that made me sort of like be anointed. So it's it's a huge honor. I'm not going to try and reduce the significance of the name or the title, but it's a way just to say that, you know, I use the hands and I pray to God and get all the results for my clients, which is amazing.
Because when by saying that I've been a client of yours, I did one of your courses, and it was a little while ago now, wasn't it? And it was based online, so it was done remotely. And I said interesting because it's the first time I've ever done anything like that, and it was led with a lot of visualization and a lot of delving deep within,
Mm.
which I found fascinating. And I almost had a lot of blocks to that because because I wanted to know where it was going to go. And when you lead with the intuition, that will guide you.
Yeah, and do you know what? I love it when people like yourself come in because you have no idea what to expect. And I make big promises as well, right? Like I talk about you're going to find your purpose within a small amount of time, normally 90 minutes and stuff. We've actually reduced the time to 90 minutes now. But, the program that you did, you found your purpose, you connected to your business and everything else. And I remember we were sat it was sort of like a bar slash restaurant place, and you were telling me all the things that happened.
Yeah.
Then you'd passed your exams, you'd literally gone from strength to strength, and you'd experienced so many blocks even beforehand. But I just want to say thank you for trusting me, because you literally were shining. You were a completely different person. You're
Oh,
more
thank you.
confident. Well, you were more confident. You were going out there and doing things, especially in an environment where there's a lot of people who speak very loudly, and you're not a
Yes.
loud person. And when people are shouting and doing this and doing that, it's very easy to feel as if what you're doing isn't right, or isn't strong enough, or isn't significant enough. And what and I'm not trying to put words into your mouth, I'm just remembering your testimonial. You said something like, but I passed. I went and did exams that I never thought I would pass, and it gave me so much
Yeah.
more confidence. And you'd there was something else you did. I need to. It escapes me now. But you'd really achieved some major milestones that if we hadn't have dug that deep, we wouldn't have gone through those blockages. And I look at you now online, and this is not the Fran who came to me a few years
Thank
ago.
you. Yeah, well, my main background has not been academic, so I
Mm,
struggled a lot. I left school before my exams, and it's been I've embraced adult learning, which I never thought was possible because I also didn't realize that I had a very fixed mindset. I just thought that things were the way they were and that was it.
right.
So although I consider myself to be very earthy and natural, I wasn't necessarily then it doesn't go together that you're automatically in tune with your intuition or with your inner self. You think that it would go together and it doesn't necessarily work that way, does it? So for me, it's been a slow, gradual awakening as such.
Yeah, but the results that you were getting were significant. And I like the fact that you say that, you weren't academic because the work I do, even though I say leaders, sometimes I think people think, oh my God, when she's talking about leaders, it means they have to have a degree and work in corporate. No. So, and I believe if you have influence, whether it's in your home, whether it's in the office, whether it's in a shop, you are a leader. Leaders come in different guises. And the fact that you felt as if you weren't academically led, the work I do isn't for academics, it's for the soul. The soul has no education. Or it has an education of its own. And when we connect to that, incredible things happen because you open up doors that you didn't realize were within you. Hence, I wish, do you know what? I'm going to find a photograph of you in one of my sessions and put it against like you today. And I'm going to send it to you and you're going to notice the difference. It's incredible.
Ah, lovely. It's interesting as Oh, excuse me. It's interesting as well, you're explaining about leadership because we have contextual ideas about what words mean and what words mean to us and how we interpret them. And you're absolutely right. Somebody might think of a leader as being somebody of a very top figure or in the public eye or in politics or, that whatever their interpretation of leadership is.
Mm.
So it's interesting to hear that all of us can have a leader within us, can't we? That just um, we don't necessarily consider ourselves to be a leader.
Yeah, and I think it stems a lot from imposter syndrome, right? It's like
Right.
a lot of people feel like, oh, well, that can't be me. And, oh, well, she's not talking about me. But then when you read the rest of it, it's like, oh, that sounds like me. The fact of the matter is, if you are a mom in a home, even if your kids have left home, you're still the leader of that home. Even if you're just there on your own, because you make those decisions, you make executive decisions for your home, you decide what happens when and where, and you decide who comes in and who goes out. And when you represent your home, whether you're paying a bill, whether you're speaking to somebody who just calls the phone randomly, you're acting as the person that has the information and that leads that home. Equally, in an organization, whether it's in corporate or you're working for yourself, you are a leader. If you are believing that anybody should be influenced by what you have to say, in whatever context, you're a leader of that space. And the sooner we embrace that, the more empowered we're going to become. Because straight away, we're going to stop hiding or shying away from the people who are presumably qualified to be leaders. When they get taught how to be leaders, and you're talking to somebody who's managed £9 billion contracts, I'm the lady behind the Olympics. I rolled out the Olympics for the UK 2012. And I promise you this, when you go on leadership courses, you don't get taught anything different.
This actually leads itself, talking of leadership, leads itself very nicely into my next question that I have for you,
Yeah.
which is that I know that your clients have achieved extraordinary results,
Mm,
including securing multi-million pound contracts. So,
mm,
can you tell us about your unique blend of intuitive leadership
mm.
and the transformational techniques that you use?
Oh goodness. Yeah, I mean, I always come from the stance that we're humans first.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, humans, my dad, God bless his soul, he used to say, when I was growing up, he would say, even the queen goes to the toilet, you know, Victoria. And he would say that in a way to make you realize that l- leadership isn't about it's not necessarily always about status, if that makes sense and stuff. It's so much more. And when people come to me, it's because first and foremost, they're embracing the term leadership or embracing the status that they've been given, because not everybody is a leader by choice. There's a lot of accidental leaders out there. People who go, oh God, I didn't realize I was a leader. And then you have the blockages either that you have consumed between the ages of 0 and 7, which then hold you back, and that change the narrative on how you face the world. And then you've got life's experiences, you've got what society has seduced you with. So society believes that you need to appear a certain way. Put it this way, society will never tell you to wear a dress like this. Okay. Society will say to you, well, if you're going on a podcast, you need to dress in a certain way and look a certain way. Society will never say this. So you get seduced by society. So by the time you come into working and trying to get results, those blockages have compounded to the point where you can't see the wood for the trees. So a lot of leaders survive.
Mm.
They sacrifice personal fulfillment for professional success. So by the time clients come to me, they're top to the brim with society's expectations and without any fulfillment of their own. So we go through a number of exercises, a number of experiences. Some of them are, like you said, visualizations. Some of them are healing. I'm very very strict on the fact that now for you to come and start working with me, the entry point is finding your purpose. You need to find your purpose. When you
Okay.
know why you were put on this earth, life is just so much more easier. And what does that mean? It means that you start to create more opportunities quite seamlessly. You start to understand yourself and also understand what you'll tolerate in the world. You start to then realize that as a result, your relationships improve, your money improves, your health improves. It has a knock-on effect. And we've tested it
Okay.
over and over again within my clients. So this particular client, she hadn't reported to me that she'd made this money. And I was at a party last September, and somebody said, oh my God, Victoria, I've heard so much about you. Tell me about yourself. And this woman turns around and she goes, oh my God, Victoria, because of the work we did, I just managed to sign a £2.5 million contract.
Amazing.
I know. And I was like, why am I hearing about this at a party? And yeah, and she's gone on to do great things. But here's the thing. Yes, she's made the money, but guess what? It's allowed her to spend time with her loved ones. It's allowed her to take a break out of her career as it was. It's allowed her to sort of like take a moment to decide, well, is this what I still want to do? It's allowed her to feel so empowered that she's even going for bigger contracts and collaborating with people that she probably wouldn't have collaborated with before. So, and her health is so much better. Like, she's completely transformed her. So it's just had a knock-on effect on everything that she's been doing. And that's just from one program that she came on.
Can we just talk a little bit about purpose? Because purpose is one of those words that can seem very, very big and unachievable.
Do you know what? So I want to just take that away straight away. Everybody has a purpose. You're born with a purpose, okay? I was at an event 2 days ago, and somebody described purpose in the most beautiful way, and I recorded it, but I haven't written it down. But he described it like this. He said, "It's that thing." He goes, "Is that voice that you hear when you're born, okay? And when you're born, God gives you a whisper in a language that only you understand."
Oh, I love that.
And I know when he said it, I was about to cry. I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah,
I,
it's
I was like,
beautiful.
I guarantee people their purpose. And I've never faced it like this. And and he said, and that message and that language will stay with you, whether you move away from it or not. And when you reconnect with it, it's as if you've always known it. And then once you pay attention and you're obedient to it, you start to create the results that you really want. That's what your purpose is. Everybody is born with a purpose. So I always use the example of the chair that I'm sat with, this big chair behind me. This chair was designed for me to sit on it. It was designed for people to sit on it. Now, we could attach wheels to it and even add a steering wheel in front of it and even add an engine into it, and it would kind of move. It would kind of get traction, but in the process of doing it, it's going to break down because the material isn't sturdy enough for an engine. It's going to be dangerous, so I could easily fall down and die, heaven forbid. There could be so many things that happen, and that's what happens when you don't fulfill your purpose. You experience either physical or emotional ailments that make you feel uncomfortable, make you feel as if something's missing, make you realize, do you know what? There's something just not right. And then when you meet someone like me who can give you your purpose, and I keep promising to do this and I still haven't done it, but with clients who get their purpose, we've got videos of them before they get their purpose and after, and it's almost like the light's been switched on and they go, oh my God. And it completely makes sense. And they may have touched on part of that purpose in their past, or it may just be in the language that they understand and they go, that's it.
But do you think there's also a possibility that sometimes people know their purpose but think that it's not for them
100%. 100%.
due to their limiting beliefs, possibly?
100%. So there's people who have an idea of what their purpose is and they think it's too big. Um, Also, it's been narrated in a language that they may not understand, which is why, again, when people come to me, it makes more sense. And we go through a period of time where they learn how to receive the purpose and embody the purpose. Because here, it's one thing knowing your purpose, but if you don't understand it and you don't embody it, then you can't adapt it to your life or to your career or to whatever it is that you're trying to do. So yes, there's a lot of people that know their purpose, but they don't know the how. When people come to me, they don't just get the purpose, they also get the instructions. And this is where the intuition is amazing. The instructions tell them what to do. It gives them a plan. And then we fall into and this is something that I give away as a bonus. I give people 6 weeks afterwards with me where they learn how to embody their purpose. Like they get to understand their purpose, they get to understand, and also how they can self-sabotage that purpose as well. Because I know so many people, like see it happen all the time, where people are so amazing at what they do. They've hit it on the nail, they've hit the nail on the head, they know why they're here, and they keep on self-sabotaging, which means it takes them off the rail track of purpose and puts them in a place of chaos.
Are there any specific reasons as to why people self-sabotage? Or are they just very general, very varied reasons?
So you've mentioned beliefs.
Yeah.
There's here's the thing in life, and it's funny because from the Christian perspective, people go, oh, Satan, the devil, and stuff like he's there to sort of like knock you off your track. But if you look at it from a more um everyday understanding, your ego doesn't want you to succeed. Doesn't, never has, isn't happy when you do.
And we've
So
all got ego, haven't we?
we
We've all
all
got
have,
ego.
which is why when people go, oh my God, I don't have ego, it's like, no, but you can suppress the ego to go for what you want. It's not
Mhm.
permanent, but you can suppress it to go for what you want. So what tends to happen is you'll get your, as soon as you have a great idea and you're, oh my God, it's amazing. I promise you, it doesn't matter who it is, it keeps going, you've got enough time. Can you do it? Have you got enough money? What are people going to say? Like, and it's almost like your ego keeps throwing in all these different thoughts until the one that triggers you stops you from doing it, which is why you need to learn how to receive your purpose and also navigate your way through it. So there's a saying that says, beware of the storm. And then the response is, but I am the storm. It's like you have to become the storm to go through it. Like nobody who is successful hasn't had a storm to conquer. We all have storms, right? And we're all more powerful than what we give ourselves credit for. But the thing is, we tend to forget the storms as soon as we come out the other end, and then we then our ego then makes us forget all the storms we've experienced and then reminds us that we're not strong enough. So then we keep on giving up and not succeeding. Your ego is happiest when you're miserable, when you're complaining. Yeah, it's very happy because then it just sits there and goes, great, we're not achieving anything. And this is exactly where I want you to be. As soon as you start to move forward, your ego steps in. And when you listen to your ego, that's where your self-sabotage comes in. That's what your self-sabotage is. So everybody will self-sabotage. If somebody says to you that they don't, they're lying. If somebody says to you that they don't have an ego, they're either lying or they don't know what they're talking about.
It potentially, yeah, I was just gonna say, potentially they don't realise that it's a lie, so because they're not relating to that's what it is, they're not realising that that's what it is. It's
Yeah.
interesting as well, Victoria, that you're saying about, receiving the
Mm.
purpose, because
Mm.
receiving also means giving yourself permission.
Yeah, so it's been a learning curve for me as well. So initially, when I used to years ago, when I started giving people their purpose and I realized that that's something that I could do, I would give people the purpose and then go, great, there you go. And then
Yeah.
I'd see, yeah, see ya. And then I'd see people leave and they either wouldn't do anything with the purpose. And one of the things that really sort of like gets on my nerves is that I hate it when people have something and they don't use it. So I'm going, but why haven't they done anything with it? Now I realize that again, like you said, the purpose is so big, you're going, oh, I'm not so sure if this is for me, or it makes sense, but I don't know where to go. So then I went within myself and thought, okay, so how can I support people? Because to me, it's not just about the program, it's not just about how much you get paid, it's making sure that people leave fulfilled and happy. So how can I make that happen? And that's where my 6-week clarity and alignment program came in, where I was like, okay, so you come in and you get your purpose, but anybody that does also gets free access to the 6 weeks where you come in, and every week for 6 weeks we'll meet as part of a group and we'll go through your purpose and also knock down all those beliefs so that by the end of it, you are creating so much in results, in money and everything else. So the last event that we just had, we had people who had their best months ever in business. We
Mm.
had people who were asking and quoting for more in their jobs with regards to pay than they ever had done. We had quotes that were over 200% higher than they'd ever put through that were being accepted. I know we're talking about money, but it's a way to measure. Does that make sense? It's a way
Yeah.
to measure, but also we're talking about homes being calmer. We've got kids in there, that teenagers in the homes that are sort of like erratic. We've got ADHD kids and stuff. The homes are calmer because all of a sudden the mum or the dad knows what they're meant to be doing. So they're not focusing or wasting energy where it's not needed. It's like they're focusing it in places where they know that they're going to get the results. And again, the results aren't just financial, they're emotional, they're physical and everywhere else. But receiving is so important. It's almost like me giving you a telly and you never switch it on. What's the point? So you need to be able to have it, switch it on, and then decide how are you going to use that telly. So are you going to use it for entertainment? Are you going to use it for for education? What are you going to use it for? When are you going to use it? Who else are you going to tell about this? Like it's that knock-on effect. And once you go through that process, you stop even thinking about it as your purpose. It just becomes your part of your being.
So purpose isn't ornamental. It's not just meant for us to know it's there and gaze at lovingly on
Yeah.
occasion.
Yeah, I mean, again, when you get to that point where you're making it ornamental, then that's where your ego's stepping in, because your ego's going, let's
Right.
make it something that it's not. Let's distract you. Is like anybody who's on purpose, and so let me think of somebody who's really successful. So Richard Branson, he's somebody who he started off not knowing that was his purpose. He just wanted to have fun. And then as soon as he started to realize that he had a purpose, he became more responsible with the way he served the world, but also that's when he started tapping into his intuition. So his intuition was almost like, wow, I've got this extra tool that I can use that I didn't know was there. But it only came because he started to realize that, oh my God, I'm here for something bigger. And when I look at what I'm doing, I can serve better. And all of a sudden you could see that certain businesses of his closed down and he focused on other areas. Like it's a whole
Mm.
thing. And your purpose doesn't need to be perfect straight away. That's another mistake that people make. They think that, oh my God, because I've got my purpose, life is perfect. No. When you have your purpose, you receive it, you have a duty to roll that out. But with it also come lessons. And those lessons can come in the form of chaos. Some of them could come in the form of rewards. But when you're on purpose, you're more on a steady train of not creating as much chaos that you could do if you weren't on purpose. Okay. But it's like because your focus is, I know I'm here to serve X, Y, and Z. I know that. So, okay, I'm being battered here. Maybe people are talking about me. Maybe family are giving me grief. Maybe I'm not getting the support that I want. Maybe my bank account's empty, but I know I'm here to serve X. And you just keep going no matter what, one day at a time.
Yeah.
They don't have to be big
Okay.
changes.
So it's it. Would you say that it's similar or the same as being in alignment? Is that what the purpose brings? Does it bring an alignment?
It does bring an alignment. Yes, it does. But it's not, I don't believe it's necessarily, um, I, I know people talk about alignment a lot.
But that's not all it is it?
It's not all it is, but but alignment is part of it. But with the alignment, you need to also with alignment, you also need other ways of thinking, ways of living. And as human beings, none of us are perfect. So none of us are going to be completely aligned all the time. It just doesn't happen. But that's
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, of course it is. And it's and there's no judgment for any of this either,
No,
is there? Because we're
no.
all at different stages of our, of our development or our awareness.
100%. And that's something that we need to realize is, you see, when you're on purpose, you stop comparing yourself to somebody else. When you're on purpose, you start to realize that what you've got is so special that even if somebody took your whole notepad and copied it, they would never, ever, ever replicate what you've created. Um, and perfection isn't part of it.
And perfectionism could be part of being held back though, couldn't it? So that could be
100%. It's your
part of
ego.
something because you're waiting until something's put, so it's holding you in a place where you're not going to move forward.
Yeah. So this is where your ego comes into play as well, because your ego tells you or lies to you and says, we're going to do it really well when this happens. So let's wait for this. And then this never happens, right? Or when it happens, it's almost like an anticlimax and what have you. That's why I have a lot of people who come to me who identify as perfectionists and they are miserable because they can never attain perfectionism. It doesn't exist. It does not exist. And people come to me because they're experiencing pain from it, and some of them come to me because they believe that it is an accolade to have. None of them are happy. I've never met a happy perfectionist.
There's there's also a thing about wanting things to feel right, or having your ducks in a row as such. So when this happens and that happens, but potentially if perfectionism is in there as well, you're not going to move forward, are you? So generally, I know that certain stages that I've been in previously with my life journey, I wouldn't have identified what was holding me back.
Yeah, see, again, you're when we hear of perfectionism, I blame social media. I think social media has
That's a very bold statement to make,
I do,
Victoria.
I sound so old saying it though. And I spend a lot of time on social media and I love being on social media, but sometimes the narrative makes it sound a lot more than what it is. Like I've seen people go to events, like really big events, and they come out feeling like they need to be perfect. I'll give you an example. I love going to Tony Robbins events. They're amazing and they're very powerful and loud and everything else and stuff. And Tony talks about standards. People misinterpret that with perfection, and they come out trying to be perfect and trying to be like robots who, it's like you hear people talk and they're all like robots trying to achieve something. And I'm like, were you paying attention in that room? Because when Tony was talking, I didn't see a perfect guy. I I saw a guy who has messed up so many times. He's on his second marriage. He tells stories of his children who aren't perfect. And he talks about himself where he loses his rag. Like that whole thing of people don't want to get angry. Oh, no, I don't want to get angry. Oh God, I only want to talk about positive thinking and stuff. It's like, but you're a human being. You're a human being. Do you know one of the things that ask my clients to do sometimes? I'm like, go into a field and just scream. And they go, really? I'm like, yeah. Just go scream, swear your head off if you have to.
Yeah.
Do what you need to do and then come back and recalibrate. Because you're a human being, you can't be perfect. It doesn't exist. What you're what
I like it that you mentioned recalibrate,
Yeah,
because a lot of that's to do with, um, being able to identify your emotions and the emotional awareness and stuff like that. Because we've all got these things. Like I'm generally a very calm person, but I'm
yeah.
also a multifaceted human being. So yes, I feel jealousy, I feel resentment, but I choose not to. I don't want to feel that. So I just sit with it for a little while.
But also is that it's almost like realizing that as a human being, so there's a reason why these emotions have been identified.
Okay.
Okay. There's a reason why these emotions exist. There's a reason why they've been described in the dictionary. Because the truth of the matter is they're human emotions. However, awareness is all about choosing the emotions that you want to spend your time with, and almost like quieting down the emotions that don't serve you.
Yeah.
So somebody may go, yeah, but how can I do that? Equally, as you may decide that you don't want to create the emotion around, um, I don't know, of being happy, you could equally just choose to be sad. So I know some people who it doesn't matter what time of day you ask them how they're doing, they've got a complaint and they'll complain all day long. But I've got other people who, if you speak to them, most of the time, they're generally happy. Now, I believe all of that is a choice. You have to decide which side of the bed you wake up in the morning. So I'm someone who, in general, I would say about 95% of the time, if you speak to me, meet me and stuff, I'm in a good mood. Now, but it's a choice. It is a
Mm.
choice. And I promise you, it wasn't always like that. Like I used to complain. And then one day I was just like, this isn't serving me. So, and I prefer to wake up knowing that I'm setting the tone of my day. It doesn't mean I don't have problems. It doesn't
I've
mean,
got I've got a share for you
oh,
now.
go
Okay,
on.
I've got a little share. Now this is something that I've actually stated before. Okay, within I've had years of being challenged with depression. So
Yes.
part of my being very quiet and very internal, I had a lot of depression to work through,
Mm.
and I enjoyed feeling sad because it was
Mhm.
a safe place. It held me safe. It didn't, I didn't have to interact with people because I was sad. So it's almost like a comfortable place to be until it wasn't,
Yeah.
until I couldn't, do anything about it. And around that time, if I know for a fact that if somebody had have said to me, "You can choose to be happy," I would have felt like maybe punching them in the face or
I was going to say
ru
punch it in the
ru
face.
running away. Or I wouldn't have done it, but, running
Yeah.
away or something, because how could they say that to me? That's such an awful thing, that's a lie.
Mm.
Now I realise that we can choose our states. We can choose these
Yeah.
moments, or it's not about I never feel sad. Yes, I do. I choose to be happy. So what can I do about it? What resources have I got? What can help me?
Yeah, and also not doing it on your own. So for anybody out there that watches this and thinks, you know what, I'm depressed, and how dare you say, I make a choice and stuff. But it's also a choice to just speak to someone and let them see you through it and what have you. It's not, we're not magically or trivializing what's the word, depression. It's more the fact that don't do it on your own and allow people to help you. And then you'll start to realize that other emotions come up as well. There are times when I have, very rarely, but there are times when I just have those days where I just want to stay in bed. And I'll just stay in bed. I'm like, this is my day when I don't want to talk to anyone. And
And
I
that's okay, isn't it? That's
and it's
okay.
okay. And most people who know me will be really surprised about that. But here's the one thing that I'll do. I'll say to myself, fine, you can stay in bed, you can watch movies, you can get a takeaway if you want. However, after today, tomorrow, you get back up and join the real world. And I go, okay, deal. And I tell you what, every time I do it, I feel amazing. It rarely
Yeah.
happens, but when I do it, it's fantastic.
And I feel that a lot of there's very complex reasons for my many years of depression.
Mm,
And some of it actually lends itself to that sense of purpose. You
mm,
know,
mm.
what am I here for? I felt like I was just a stepping stone for everything and everybody else. And that, that was my place on the planet kind of thing. And it made me feel very sad. So
Yeah.
part of it I didn't realize it was finding that sense of purpose to actually allow myself to shine as, the human being that I choose to be.
Yeah, and you know what? When you're that stepping stone, or when you feel like you're that stepping stone, because it's also a narrative, right? But when you feel like you're that stepping stone and stuff, you don't feel loved, do you? Because you feel as if
Mm.
that love is all conditional, is all
Yes.
conditional, and what have you. And you think to yourself, hang on, why? And that's why having a purpose is so important, because you start to create boundaries. That's one of the things we talk about when during the 6 weeks. We talk about boundaries. We talk about money. We talk about money from a very intuitive space, as opposed to money mindset kind of thing and stuff. Like, we go
Yeah.
so deep, because here's the thing, it's like when you know your purpose, you start to realize that not everybody in your life is meant to be there, and not everybody has the right to have as much access to you as they think they do. And you become a lot more powerful, and you stand more in your space and go, do you know what, I'm going to have you where maybe I'll speak to you maybe every 3 months, and that's okay, because that's what's right for me. And also, it fits in with my purpose and how I'm going to roll out and serve the world. You know what I mean? Which means if I speak to you every day or every week like we used to, you're going to get on my nerves, and you're going to ruin my mood for what I'm trying to do. But the more you go into this, then you start to realize that even when these people come in and they're here every day, they won't impact your mood. That's where I'm at. It's that I don't let any, not even my mum, and I love my mum to death. Like, I won't even let my mum affect my service, what I'm doing. I won't allow it. I just won't do it. If she starts a conversation and that is a bit sort of like triggering and stuff, I go, let's have a conversation later. I said, but you're not going to ruin this for me, because I have this to do. And she goes, oh. I go, yeah, but I'll speak to you later. I love you. And I put the phone down. I won't allow it, because I know why I'm here. And I'm so obsessed with it, maybe to a point, maybe that's not very healthy, but I'm so obsessed with my purpose that I know why I'm here, and it's non-negotiable.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that as well, that it's non-negotiable.
Yeah.
And the thing about boundaries is a whole nother conversation that I'm not going to completely get into now, because that's something else that I didn't understand. I don't think I
Mhm.
had any. That's for another day. What I want to ask you is, what's next for you, Victoria?
Ooh, what's next? So,
Yeah,
oh goodness. So by the time everybody's heard of this, it would have happened. But in a couple of weeks, um I'm hosting my first live event for 6 years. And
amazing.
it's called An Audience with the African Oracle, and I can't wait. It's I want to really go back on the road doing live events, and I want to meet people. I'm somebody who, when people meet, they gravitate towards, and I want to spend more time in that space with people that I can help. So I want to sort of like create more in-person events. What else is next? there's a lot of growth in the business, and I'm excited to sort of like bring on new clients. Oh, that's what I was going to say to you before I go. So we're talking about emotions. I had a client
Yeah.
yesterday who came to me crying, just to give you, came to me crying. She was like, "Oh my God, I don't think I can do anything." Within less than an hour, she'd completely changed her stance. Her voice had changed, and she was the happiest person I'd ever seen.
Oh,
It's just
that's
to show you
lovely.
that we can move emotions. But yeah,
Yeah.
back to what happens next and stuff. It's more about just growing and having new opportunities. I'm talking to some clients at the moment in companies, um, doing some more stages. Didn't do that many stages this year. I really stayed away from a lot of events this year, went to very, very few. But yeah, the in-person events are the big one, and I'm really excited. We've just got the venue and it's stunning.
Oh, amazing. I love that.
Thank
Um,
you.
especially because like we've actually, met at some events as well. And
Yes.
I do know that you you light up the room.
Oh, bless
There's no kind of denying that you're in the space.
you.
It's almost
Thank
like you
you.
can feel that you're there before, you
Oh,
enter the
thank
room.
you.
So
Thank you.
um,
I've had to own that,
yeah,
and being and realizing that when I'm in the room, whilst I light up the room, it's not an egotistical thing. It's the benefit it has on other people, and that's really
yeah.
why I want to do this. Yeah.
I never took it in an egotistical way. It was in
Yeah.
a welcoming way.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Right, so thank you, Victoria, for sharing your wisdom, your warmth,
Thanks, Fran.
your powerful insights as well. I
Thank
enjoyed
you.
this conversation. And for those of you interested in learning more about Victoria and her work, you can find her on Instagram, Victoria Dioh, and that's Dioh, if I've
Yeah.
got it right. On LinkedIn, Victoria Dioh, and you're on TikTok as well, um, which is interesting. I quite like TikTok. And you've also got something on SKOOL.
I do.
Do you want
So
to tell us a little bit about that?
yeah, so I'm gradually moving my group over to school for a number of reasons. Um, I mean, I love Facebook, but Facebook has started deleting a lot of videos and stuff. So it's like there's no guarantee of what's there, what's not there. And I know a lot of people who have got big groups and we're not just getting the reach that we want and what have you mean.
I got deleted completely,
You
so I had
said,
to start
yeah,
again. Yeah,
yeah,
all my account got all taken down. So by
yeah.
SKOOL, this is it's spelled SKOOL, and it's actually a platform, isn't it, in which you can create groups and courses.
Yeah, so it's you pay for it, but there's ways, I promise you, there's ways you can go on and make it work for you so that you don't so that you don't have to pay. But it starts at like $9 a month if you have a school account. It's created by Alex Hormozy, who recently had like $100 million launch by selling his book. Um, but yeah, so I've been on there as a client in other people's groups, and I really like it. It's very interactive. It's got a lot of gamification, but the most important thing, because I think a lot of people on Facebook go, "Oh my God, but I won't get the alerts." I promise you, it's got an app, and you'll always receive emails once you've been tagged or once something's been said in your group, or you'll get a message through your app to say that there's a message waiting for you. It's really, really good. I like it. I spent a lot of time on it, and I've just worked with somebody yesterday who's going to help me launch it properly. So come on in.
Oh, amazing. You mentioned Alex Hormozy. I watch a lot of his YouTube videos. Um,
He's yeah, do you know what? It's like I've always seen him and I like him and stuff like, well, I wouldn't say I liked him. I liked his ideas and I've loved what he's done in acquisition.com.
yeah.
Should I get him to pay me for advertising his work? But yeah, I love the stuff he's done on acquisition.com. But this recent launch, I really tapped into the humane side of him because he always seems like someone who's just like go, 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 go. And this time round, I don't know if it's because it was Layla, his wife, who really came into it and stuff, but it was just a beautiful thing to see. And to watch someone make $100 million in like what a day was just sensational to watch. And he's had SKOOL for quite a while now. I also follow Russell Brunson, who I met last year, and who is the most incredible human being I've ever met. He's so kind and lovely and down to earth and just no bars hold. He'll talk to anybody anytime. And he's got SKOOL and he used it a lot. And I just thought, you know what, I'm gonna use this. And as luck would have it, somebody approached me to help me be a case study to help me set me up on SKOOL. So I'm taking it with two hands and running with it.
Yeah, and so some of this as well, for people listening, is that you can find your creators or your your leaders or your business people that you like their information. You can consume their content or go into their courses and stuff like that. I've got certain people that I like to listen to,
Yeah,
um, especially because I'm more based on YouTube. So there's a lot
yeah,
of kind of creators on there, even people that have been around for many years. I still listen to their content. Um,
yeah.
and if you want to get that sense of purpose and, you know, lean into your own leadership and be the person that other people look to, then you've got things to help people, haven't you? You've got things to guide
100%.
people.
100%, 100%. Just come on.
'Cause we can all have a place at the table, can't we, you know? You can
Listen,
admire people, but they are just people.
they're just people. There's 8 billion of us in this world, and we all have problems. There's a saying that the perfect people you know are the people you don't know very well. We've all got stuff going on with us. We've like nobody's perfect. I promise you this. Nobody's perfect. And it's one of the reasons why I lean a lot towards Russell Brunson. I met him last year, and in a space where normally people would have entourages, he came on his own with his two boys, with his twins,
Love
and
him.
and he was just hanging around and talking to people. And this is somebody who made $3.5 million in an hour. And it was just like, and he was so nice. And do you know what? He follows me on Instagram now. And
Oh,
so
lovely.
he's just such a, this is someone who's done over £1 billion in sales and just down to earth. And my advice is know why you're here so that you can then approach these people and have really powerful conversations with them. And if you want to know anything at all, I'm here and stuff. Fran's doing incredible stuff.
Oh, thank you.
Speak to this woman. Yeah, but the thing is though, Fran, it's like when people see you when you're growing and stuff, it's like you've paid the price, you've earned your stripes, and
Yeah,
when people you can help a lot of people because they'll be able to relate to you a lot more. You don't need to be shouting from the rooftops, but you're doing so well. You're always on my TikTok. I always see you on
and
TikTok.
a lot of this stuff does not always happen overnight, does it? There's always a journey involved. There's always a pathway involved, isn't there, of that evolution and that growth and, um
I wrote a post the other day and I said it was my 10-year overnight success. Like anybody who you really want to get to know, when you hear how they got their overnight success, they've been doing stuff for like 10, 20 years. Nobody gets it just straight away. You have to earn your place, 100%. And if you don't earn your place, so in my corporate career, I didn't earn my place, but I literally rose very quickly. At some point, life goes, okay, it's time now for you to earn your place. And that was in my business. So my business is a lot more incremental. In my career, I increased my salary by 140% in 9 months. In my business, it's been a lot more of a slower trajectory, but with phenomenal results equally.
yeah, amazing. So again, thank you, Victoria. Thank you, Victoria. I've absolutely loved this. It's really nice to connect with you
You
again in
too, my love.
person. So if you're interested in more content like this, be sure to visit www.melancholymentor.com, that's me, and follow us for the latest updates. And until next time, stay curious, keep igniting your creative potential, and go and find Victoria.
Thank
So
you.
whether that be on Instagram or on LinkedIn or on TikTok, or if you're interested in SKOOL, then contact Victoria and she'll tell you more about it. Thank you. Bye. Thank you for joining me on the Melancholy Coaching Podcast. I'd love you to subscribe. For queries or to connect, email info@melancholymentor.com. Until next time, keep igniting your creative potential.